If it happens in 2026, forget it. It will be a bloodbath for Republicans, and Democrats will take back the House and maybe the Senate, really not because of anything they did, right? Democrats have just been able to say Trump is bad, and that might carry them to the House. Trump and his people would have to change course this summer. And if they don't, it's too late.
In 10 minutes' time, 104% tariffs are going to be put on Chinese goods going into America. That's where we are now. What do you make of where we've got to?
Trump's an idiot. He's a madman. And the greatest, freest country in the history of the world elected an utterly horrible, more importantly, an utterly ignorant human being who somehow still believes in this 19th century policy called tariffs. He's killing the American economy, and one man is going to lay waste to the world economy unless Republicans in America get some spine.
And how can he do that, Joe? Because constitutionally, it's very striking that is he able just to say, well, everything's an emergency, so I can do what I like? What's happened to Congress?
3 months ago, and I say this as a former congressman, every other January, every member of Congress takes an oath to defend the Constitution. 3 months ago, the Republicans in Congress did not take that oath. They basically said, screw the Constitution, we are going to defend Trump. So that's where we are. You're right. Tariffs, this is Congress's authority. But Trump claims some emergency and Congress gives it to him. Congress could end this tomorrow if they wanted, but they don't want to.
Why do they not want to? Why has Trump got American politics in such a tight grip? How's he managed to do that? Because he won the election. We didn't win it by that much. I mean, he's a powerful guy, but American presidents have always been powerful guys. Why does he control it so tightly?
Because he owns one political party. Look, we only got 2 of them in America. I wish we had more. We have 2 political parties, and Donald Trump owns one of them. I used to be a Republican my whole life. The party is a cult. The base of the party, the most enthusiastic voters, would die for him. So every congressional Republican knows that. If you stand up against Trump as a Republican, your career is over.
And where are the Democrats in this? We have a system in this country, as you know, Joe, which is much more oppositional. The leader of the opposition regularly battles the prime minister. Where a lot of our listeners get in touch with us saying, where are the Democrats in this? Who is the big Democratic figure or figures who are saying, what are you doing, Donald Trump?
There is none. And again, I apologize for my language. The Democrats suck. Look, half the reason Trump won is because the Democratic Party is absolutely out of touch. Regular working class people voted for Trump across the board. Now, he's a demagogue and he sold them a bunch of lies, but they looked at that. I mean, I was out there campaigning for Kamala Harris. So many working class people would tell me, Joe, I know Trump's a bad guy, but the Democrats look down on me. This is the problem the Democrats have. And this is why there are no leaders right now in the Democratic Party, which helps Trump.
But as you say, Trump is not doing any of this hidden. He didn't sort of campaign on one platform and rule on another. He said he was going to impose tariffs, and the American people, through your democratic system, endorsed him. So the argument, I suppose, to you would be, Joe, he's entitled to do this because he said he was going to do this. He said, well, I'm going to tariff the world. And that's exactly what he's done.
Amen. I agree with you. I would argue that the average working class American had no freaking clue what a tariff was. I mean that. But no, fair enough. Because I'll hear from Trump voters every day. And some of them will tell me, hey, Joe, this isn't what I voted for. And I always respond with BS. Stop that. This is exactly what you voted for. I think most regular Americans didn't understand what tariffs are. But as they lose their jobs, as they pay more for everything, this is going to hurt Trump.
And what do you make before we get to where Trump ends up politically? I mean, even his advisors are no longer in lockstep. Elon Musk calling Peter Navarro a moron. Peter Navarro saying this is not a negotiating tactic. Someone else in the White House says this is a negotiating tactic. Is it, firstly, on the question, is it a negotiating tactic? Do you think that there is a deal being about to be done with various countries around the world, or is he going to keep? Is tariff an issue at the heart, or is it actually a part of a deal? Do you think?
Yeah, I got to condition everything by saying, and maybe you disagree with me, I think Donald Trump's a complete idiot. I mean that. I don't think he knows what he's doing. I think a lot of people around him don't know what they're doing. I think the smart economic people around him, I don't like Elon Musk, but he's a smart dude. They know how ugly and bad and harmful these tariffs are. So if we stay on this road and Republicans get hammered and Trump's getting pressure from wealthy businessmen and Republicans in Congress because the voters are turning against him, only that would make Trump turn.
And how does that? When does that happen? Is that midterms in 2 years? Is it polling in 2 weeks? What shifts him?
Next year's too late. If it happens in 2026, forget it. It will be a bloodbath for Republicans, and Democrats will take back the House and maybe the Senate, really not because of anything they did, right? Democrats have just been able to say Trump is bad, and that might carry them to the House. Trump and his people would have to change course this summer. And if they don't, it's too late.
And do you think they will?
Hell no. Hell no. Because all of my former Republican colleagues in Congress are gutless and they're cowards and they get down on their knees every single day and pray to Trump. Most of my former Republican colleagues, like me, are free traders. But that's right. That's been the story of the last 10 years, right? Republican cowardice, Republican silence. I think that will hold the day. I think Elon Musk and wealthy businessmen might ultimately get Trump to change.
Well, you're angry about this, aren't you, Joe?
I'm utterly pissed off, and I want to apologize to you. I want to apologize to the whole freaking world. We elected a horrible guy. Look at this. We elected a guy who's on Putin's side, who doesn't like Ukraine. We're no longer even part of the free world. I hope Europe understands that. There are so many of us Americans who want to apologize to Europe for what we did. But I think America's got to learn a really hard, ugly lesson.
And we'll see if that happens. Well, Joe, it's very good to speak to you. It's important to hear what you think about this stuff. We appreciate you.
Great to be with you, my friend.